Well, this is your Uncle John, held to be efficacious in 9 out of 10 stubborn cases of sleeplessness, available of all good stockists, and because we've got a lot of good stuff to get in between now and midnight, we're going to start straight off with our guest Viv Stanshall and his reading of the tune, which is currently number 2 in the BBC's charts, much, I suspect, to everyone's astonishment and, I hope, delight.
Mountain in Virginia stands a lonesome pine. Just below is the cabin home of a little girl of mine. Her name is June, and very, very soon she'll belong to me. For I know she's waiting there for me 'neath that lone pine tree. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the Lonesome Pine, 'neath the pale moonshine, our hearts entwine. She carved her name, and I carved mine. Oh, June, like the mountains I'm blue, like the pine, I am lonesome for you. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the Lonesome Pine. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the Lonesome Pine. 'Neath the pale moonshine, our hearts entwined, where she carved her name and I carved mine. Oh June, like the mountains I'm blue, like the pine, I am lonesome for you. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the Lonesome Pine. Tinkling waterfall far among the hills. Bluebirds sing each so merrily to his mate in rapture trills. They seem to say, your June is lonesome too, longing fills her eyes. She is waiting for you patiently where the pine tree sighs. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the Lonesome Pine, 'neath the pale moonshine, our hearts entwine, where she carved her name and I carved mine. Oh June, like the mountains I'm blue, like the pine, I am lonesome for you. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the Lonesome Pine. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the Lonesome Pine.
Subtle and sensitive. That's Viv Stanshall with The Trail of the Lonesome Pine. And in about 11 minutes' time, we'll be giving you details once again of how you can win yourself 5 LPs of my choice, a Christmas card signed by Stephanie de Sykes, a Radio 1 calendar, 2 John Peel Top Gear pens, and a cheap alarm clock, tonight's star prize. And what you have to do is identify a mystery group, but I'll tell you more about that later. In the meantime, let's go to Japan. It's 1973, and these are Santana. Santana from the triple LP recorded in Japan in 1973 and called Lotus. And the pieces you heard there were Yours is the Light, Batukada and Xibaba, I think, or something along those general lines anyway. And here's your chance to win 5 LPs of my choice, a Christmas card signed by Stephanie Sykes, a Radio 1 calendar, 2 John Peel Top Gear pens and a cheap alarm clock. All you have to do is tell me, who is it, which group is it, who is making this particular record.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Here comes Santa in his sleigh. Those silver bells, they sound so gay. His shiny sleigh is heaped with toys to give to all good girls and boys. No, not yet. With dolls and gollymogs and clockwork trains, prams, tin soldiers and little model planes. Oh, going to fill your stocking so long as you've been good, and I'm sure that you have, because you know you should. Middle eight.
Have I got to sing that?
Yes. And you don't sing, you just say.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
1, 2, 3. His cheerful face is wreathed in smile.
Well, I think too much excitement is probably bad for you. But if you can tell me who that is, which famous group that is making that particular record there, unreleased of course, then you can win all of those wonderful prizes I detailed earlier. All you have to do is just send your suggestions of the group, of course, on a postcard addressed to Wonderful John Peel, BBC Radio 1, London W1A 4WW, something along those lines, probably do the trick. Here's Richard Thompson.
Everybody came to nobody's wedding. Everybody knew it was bound to be a hoot. What can you do when nothing else is cooking? You make your own amusement, bring a pile of loot. There was Alice the butcher, tidy and gone. We couldn't see where they were heading. It was 16 days and 16 nights, and it weren't even nobody's wedding. What a great reception, all the people cried. Who stole the groom and who stole the bride? How did the countess slide underneath the door? Why is the wild boy chopping up the floor? There was Alice the butcher, tidy and gone. We couldn't see where they were heading. It was 16 days and 16 nights, and it weren't even nobody's wedding.
And that's included on the 4 LP set that we played you a selection from last night called Electric Muse. Richard Thompson there, of course, and Nobody's Wedding. And Viv Stanshall with Auntie Florrie Remembers from Giant Whelks at Rawlinson End.
Aunt Florrie Remembers from Rawlinson End, Part 21. The story so far. Sandra still smells, and Hubert has been sick. Benji has tapped his briar out on the back of his neck, and Hubert has told him off about this as they are ballooning over Worcestershire. Peregrine is still trying to order in Catharticles' Kazi Curry and Kebab House. Ralph is also still in South America, sweating out the filthiest swamp fever in a mud hut so small even the rats are hunchbacked. Gwen and Maureen are now fully professional wrestlers, whilst great Aunt Florrie lives on and on and on at Rawlinson End, remote and aloof as Miss Havisham. Hearing of the girls' magnificent win at the Fairfield Hall, Croydon, in a tag match against 2 shaven bears underwater, she tartly retorted, "Oh, bottom, my Rafe could play billiards on horseback before he was 11. Now read on. ... It was breakfast time, and when the Rawlinson family broke a fast, you cursed central heating and double glazing. Aunt Florrie thrust her turkey head from its private orifice, which action by dint of practice and Vaseline over the years was not now too difficult. She was overcome by the vapours and withdrew into the room, one nostril clutched to her breast handkerchief. She smoothed the now greying hairs back from her temples and tucked them neatly under her flying buttresses. Betwixt bites of Oxford marmalade, she glanced across at old Sir Henry. Thank Clapton, she thought, that John's early death precluded him from knowing what kind of swine his father really was. She sighed deeply, and her mind strode back some 30 years on sensible brogue feet. Henry in uniform, the first night of the wonderful Jewish musical Oklahoma. Then after to dance the night away at the synagogue, but more, much more than this, they did it oive. What foolishness now it seemed to a woman already in the twilight of her autumn. She left Sir Henry chuckling over the obituaries in the Times and slipped away on leopardette-slippered feet and drifted into the vast, dusty music room where great brown spiders traced their quiet, geometric impudence on the chandeliers and crouched. Ignoring this, Florrie wiped clean the piano stool with her moist lavender hanky and, seating herself at the Bechstein, played a little something that had once meant a great deal to her, but now, sadly, rather arthritically. And the room would seem again to glow. The blink of brass buttons, the gaiety, the silvery roars of delicate laughter. My goodness, what a lot of balls she'd seen in her time. And Henry, glass in hand, legs impertinently apart, showing the whites of his flies, roaring for a C.
Give me a C, blast you!
What a kind man he'd been. She remembered the time Mr. Cumberbatch had fallen badly in the orchard and broken his leg. My Henry fairly raced back to the house for his pistol. He couldn't bear to see even the lowliest of creature in pain.
Give me a C!
And then a chorus or two of the family song.
We're Rawlinsons and Maynards, completely self-containers. It's said we're bullet heads, but we're a much, much nicer class. We're Maynard sons of Rawlin, our manners quite appalling. If you haven't got a country seat, you can stuff it up your suburban, semi-detached mortgage after the hill.
Perhaps Henry would call in old Scrotum, the wrinkled retainer, for a couple of the cups that cheer, and talk the old fool into singing a song.
Up on the table with you.
What was that rubbish he used to bray? Something about knitting or socks?
Darn his socks for your man. Darn, 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 big toe sewer again. Darn his socks, darn, darn. Darn as goes the door, knock her Betty, Mrs. Brown. Hello, dear, come inside, have a cup of tea. Hope I'm not intruding, you know me. Ever so humble, still we mustn't grumble. Looking round, can I help anything at all? Matter of fact, yes you can. Come to think, I've got a lot of socks to darn and never mind a stink. Husband, he's a farm. He say a bit of muck, never did no folk no harm. Out in his gumboots, plow. Muggin's ears gotta feed his big fat sow. He asks me in the morning, turnips so they grow. Get your breakfast down there and out you go. Just one little just one little comfort for I lie inside me box. The Lord wears trousers, Jehovah never mentioned socks. And if an angel asks me for a little old to fill, darn, down I'll go to well.
And while he was at it, eyes closed and swaying, waggish Sir Henry would pin a fox's brush to the old chap's coat-tails. Then they'd send him back over the fields to the village, still clutching his tankard.
Give him a couple of minutes for a good start.
Then they'd unleash the hounds.
Now we'll see if the beggar can run.
How they yelped. She heard the Black & Decker two-speed drills start horribly up in the downstairs bathroom, and the high-pitched screams of Sir Henry doing his own fillings. Curious how the Rawlinson family distrusted dentists. She remembered the night of Arbuthnot's honeymoon in Vienna. He knew he could never face his new wife without an immediate and immense extraction. And so he fastened a length of string about the tooth that pained him and the other end to the door of the cage-like lift and waited. But to no effect. The lift ascended, and nothing happened. Tearing open the iron door, Arbuthnot immediately threw himself down the shaft. Few men would have had the intelligence to do that. There was a scuffling at the door, a sound as though a hot water bottle were stifling a yawn, and that instant young Tarquin burst into the room, red-cheeked and breathless. For a few moments he lay on the carpet, panting like a great hound. Or for a few moments he lay on the hound, panting like a great carpet. Then with a spring he was on his feet, and suddenly ejaculated, "I say, Hunt!" Florrie turned a cold eye towards him. Normally he didn't like Arabic food, but that day he was so excited he swallowed one and managed to keep it down. Next week, but wait, Arbuthnot, in a small dinghy, earnestly hemming his way out to sea, is in trouble at a place called Dead Man's Point. We will see. ... Next week, Maureen is electrocuted, and Brian has his upper lip pierced so he can see where he's going whilst whistling.
Viv Stanshall and Florrie Remembers from Giant Whelks at Rawlinson End. And if you want to learn more about Rawlinson End, well, if you listen to our programmes in Christmas week, which according to my calculations is next week, then you'll hear a whole series of episodes from Viv of Christmas at Rawlinson End. I'm going to get now back to my own favourite top 30 singles for the year, and we're up to number 23. This is number 23, and playing it tonight for Michael, Eileen and Caroline Lucas in Preston. And that's my 23rd favourite single for the year, and it's by the Sadistic Mika band, of course, who are also responsible for making two of the best albums of the year in Black Ship and Hot Menu. And Hot Menu, in fact, provided that particular single. The band for this single, for reasons which are so bizarre that if I tried to tell you them, you wouldn't believe me, are actually called just the Mika band rather than the Sadistic Mika band. Number 22, well, the Amazing Rhythm Aces.
Sitting in a tiny table in a ritzy restaurant, she was staring at her coffee cup. He was trying to keep his courage up by applying booze. Talk was small and they talked at all. They both knew what they wanted. There was no need to talk about it. They were old enough to scope it out and keep it loose. She said, "You don't look like my type, but I guess you'll do." Third-rate romance, low-rent rendezvous. He said, "I'll even tell you that I love you if you want me to." Third-rate romance, low-rent rendezvous. The bar, they got in his car and they drove away. He drove to the family inn. She didn't even have to pretend she didn't know what for. Then he went to the desk and made his request while she waited outside. He came back with the key. She said, "Give it to me and I'll unlock the door." She kept saying, "I've never really done this kind of thing before. Have you?" Third-rate romance, low-rent rendezvous. And he said, "Yes, I have, but only a time or two." Third-rate romance, low-rent rendezvous. Third-rate romance, low-rent rendezvous. Third-rate romance, low-rent rendezvous.
I've never really done this kind of thing before. The Amazing Rhythm Aces, and that's Third-Rate Romance at number 22. And 21, Little Beaver, Let the Good Times Roll.
Let the good time roll, everybody. Let it roll before you get too old. Let the good time roll, everybody. Let it roll before you get too old.
Little Beaver and Had the Good Times Roll, and that's at number 21 in my own personal top 30, a record that didn't make it, unfortunately. At number 20, though, is one that did, and this is Roxy Music. Roxy Music and Love is the Drug at 20 in my personal chart for the year. And tomorrow, if everything goes according to plan, and who can tell whether it will or not, but if it does, then we'll be playing number 19, 18, 17 and 16. And then on Friday, the way things stand at the moment, we'll be playing my top 15 singles for the year, and precious little else besides, in fact. Viv Stanshall, the last from him, and incidentally on tonight's session, he's assisted by Pete Moss on bass, piano, accordion, violin and celeste, Mox on harmonica and flute, Bubs White on banjo, ukulele and guitar, and Viv himself plays guitar, euphonium, pipe, dum-dum, talking drum and assorted percussion.
We'll record it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, might as well.
I blow my nose too loud. I'm that filthy Anglo-Claxon man, I'm proud. I know why you dislike it if I let one off, but I can't respect you if it's acceptable behind the call and hide it. Oh, the lies we heed. Oh, the lies we need to survive, to survive. I ought to trim my nostrils and my ears and aftershave. Oh, I don't want to smell a poofter, but I have to 'cause I'm supposed to have self-confidence, sheepish common sense. Behave, pretend like you, it never happened, and hide it.
When the machine stops, you will still glare at me, old man. Hedgehog chin and wet end roll up, watery-eyed and wondering why you fought in the last war to make people like yourself impossible.
Yet I'm not saying let's behave like swine. Men in uniform in front of friends of mine. Oh, well said it all so well down on Animal Farm. Run around, feed 'em up and feel 'em flex their arms around your throat. I'm your brother, you croak, and in darkness. Oh, the lies we heed. Oh, the lies we need to survive, to survive. Oh, the lies we need. Oh, the lies we need to survive, to survive. Oh, the lies we
waiting on the other end of the line. The Super Bowl. So cool, so laid back, I'm horizontal. Gonna make you snore. Get a full frontal, head-on contrapuntal collision with your mind. Hear me, baby! Why don't you pick up the phone? Hey, aren't you all alone? I'm getting hydrophobia here, baby. That's rabies to you, darling, just to rhyme with baby.
Hello, Superboy.
Baby, I hear.
I heard that on the phone. Click.
Not like this sweet round sugar corned beef and rice. On the extension listening in, it's my wife. I'm gonna have to put this down. So refined, so read me loud, in between the lines. 'Cause I'm only waiting like politicians and central hating experts to stuff you, pad you out. Darling, in the present day emotional climate regarding yours of the last inst, full stop, it is incumbent upon me, speaking personally for myself, I, or rather, one does tend on the whole, in the final analysis, from the grassroots, getting right down to the nitty-gritty without fear or favor, in the fullness of time, in the final analysis, in the final analysis, in the final, in the final analysis. Anyway.
Viv Stanshall and Chums with the Unbridled Suite, and in the final analysis, the last thing from Viv on tonight's programme. But as I observed earlier, we'll be hearing several episodes of Christmas at Rawlinson End in our programmes next week. And we're going to end tonight with a record which I attempted to play to Richard Baker on Start the Week a week or so ago, one Monday morning, and unfortunately they only played about 15 seconds of it or so. I shall play you the whole 4 minutes and 40 seconds, though. That's the kind of wonderful person I am. This is Leon Russell and Slipping Into Christmas.
Christmas. I'm sliding into New Year. And I'm missing all your kisses. Baby, since you're not here, the special thing you give me I won't find underneath my tree. And I'm feeling sad and lonesome, wishing you were here with me. And I'm feeling kind of useless, like a second-hand Christmas tree. And I'm sneaking into sorrow. These blues have got a hold on me. Well, I know 'tis the season to be jolly, but Scrooge ain't got a thing on me. And so I'm slipping into Christmas, wishing you were here with me. Darling, since you're not here, oh, deck the halls with teardrops. Scrooge ain't got a thing on me. So I'm slipping into Christmas, wishing you were here with me. Whoa, sitting right here on my knee. Well, it's gonna be a blue Christmas.
Well, that's Leon Russell ending tonight's programme with his 1972 gem, Slipping Into Christmas. That's also the end of tonight's programme, on which you heard a session from Viv Stanshall. The programme was produced by John Walters, and if you listen to Radio 1, 247 VHF and stereo at the same time tomorrow evening, then you hear a session from the Dransfield. You'll also hear me, but I'll have the rough with the smooth. Thanks for listening tonight anyway, and good night to you.
Thursday, the 18th of December. And with the time signal, we're together on all wavelengths, 1500 metres, 247 metres and VHF. This is John Dunn in the Midnight Newsroom. The government tonight had a majority of 14 at the end of the Commons debate on employment, a debate dominated by a new economic package from the Chancellor. 289 MPs voted with the government and 275 against. Part of Mr Healy's package was aimed at providing more jobs by increasing grants to create work by £10 million and extending to smaller firms the £10 a week subsidy paid to keep in work people who would otherwise be redundant. Mr Healy also announced temporary controls on imports of certain textiles, mainly from the Far East, and a licensing scheme to restrict, if necessary, imports of colour television sets and tubes. And certain hire purchase controls are being eased on many household goods, including carpets, furniture, mattresses and central heating. But the HP controls on cars are to stay. For the Conservatives, Sir Geoffrey Howe said this was a Christmas package with nothing in it. We've just heard from the Commons that MPs have now voted on the Chrysler rescue operation, so over straight away to Westminster and a report from Brian Curtoys.
Well, the government had a majority of 21 at the end of the debate to authorise them to spend up to £162 million on the Chrysler rescue plans. Last night, their majority on the principle of the Chrysler deal was 25. And at the moment, it looks as if the number of Labour abstentions tonight was probably just about the same as last night. The main argument in the debate was over a claim by the Conservatives industry spokesman Michael Heseltine that the Chrysler deal would cost the government at least an extra £100 million. And this claim was backed up by the Liberal spokesman Richard Wainwright. But Mr Varley, the industry secretary, said Mr Heseltine had got his facts wrong. His figures were speculative and not related to the facts and information from Chrysler that the government had. These figures had been checked by international consultants and had been agreed by the Central Policy Review staff, the government's think tank. Now back to the studio.
Brian Curtoys. On the question of Britain's wider economic future, an altogether gloomy picture is painted in a report from the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development in Paris. It suggests that the international recession has touched bottom and the world will now start a slow recovery. Britain, though, will still lag behind. It's been announced in the last few minutes that the former Home Secretary, Mr Robert Carr, is to be made a life peer. Mr Carr is the Conservative MP for Sutton Carshalton, and his elevation will mean a by-election there. 8 other life peers have also been announced. They include 3 former Labour MPs, Tom Dryburgh, Donald Chapman and Albert Oram, and 1 former Liberal MP, Dr Michael Winstanley. In Spain, it's been disclosed that criminal proceedings have been dropped against the Spanish driver involved in the road crash that killed the wives of the British Rail chairman Richard Marsh and broadcaster David Jacobs. As Christopher Morris tells us, the decision has astonished lawyers involved in the case, both in England and in Spain.
During the past 4 months, the Spanish public prosecutor had been investigating to decide the exact nature of the charges. But it's a decision he never had to make, because now the 23-year-old Spaniard will face no criminal proceedings at all. From the court near Malaga, it's been disclosed that he's to benefit from the recent amnesty for prisoners decreed by Spain's new king, Juan Carlos, this even though the driver was never arrested, never held in custody, and never actually charged. The British consul in Malaga told me that as there's to be no criminal proceedings in which heavy damages could have been awarded, any civil action will now have to start from scratch. A purely civil action of this sort by foreigners in Spain is extremely rare, very costly, and likely to be delayed for several months.
It now looks as if the 4 IRA gunmen held after the Balcombe Street siege in London won't be charged until the morning. They're expected to appear before Marylebone magistrates later on today. Meanwhile, Scotland Yard detectives, who've been making inquiries since the siege ended, have discovered a second bomb factory in North London. It was at a flat in Stoke Newington. Police took away what was been described as a considerable amount of bomb-making equipment. The Prime Minister tonight spoke out against support given to the IRA by people in America. He said he recognised the special links between Ireland and Irish immigrants in the United States, but he felt that the financing of IRA terror, brutality and murder was a threat to those links. In California, Lynette Squeaky Fromm, a follower of the convicted murderer Charles Manson, has been sentenced to life imprisonment for trying to kill President Ford. The sentence was announced in a courtroom at Sacramento, as David McNeil reports.
Passing sentence, the judge said he was appalled at Miss Fromm's dedication to violence in support of environmental causes. Our most precious natural resource is a human life, he told her. A murder such as the one you planned would have impoverished our nation. Lynette Fromm repeatedly interrupted the judge while he was reading his statement. At one point, she struck the prosecutor on the head with an apple. She read a prepared statement in which she restated her devotion to environmental causes and to convicted mass murderer Charles Manson. I want Manson out, she said. I want my world at peace. And she added, I stood with a gun and said, don't make me shoot. And you said, do it, do it. You keep asking for it. When the judge announced the sentence, she screamed at the top of her voice and shouted, you fool, I'm trying to save your life. In the end, Miss Fromm left the court the way she had often entered it, in the arms of U.S. Marshals.
In Sussex, 3 people are missing, feared drowned, after a car plunged into the water tonight at Shoreham Harbour. Police say a 4th person escaped. Police divers have been called in. Football, and just a couple of results tonight. In the FA Cup, Hereford beat Bournemouth 2-0. And in the European Championship, Scotland and Romania drew 1-1, a match this mainly of academic interest, with Spain already assured of coming top in that group. The crowd at Hampden Park was only just over 11,000. And finally, the weather, sunny and mainly dry in southern districts, but cloud and some rain will spread across Scotland, Northern Ireland and Northern England. It'll be generally milder than of late. And just to round things off, a gale warning. Attention all shipping. The Met Office issued the following gale warning at 22:55 GMT today. Bailey and Faroes, gales force 8, now veered westerly. Hebrides and Fair Isle, gales force 8, veering westerly, imminent. Viking and Cromarty, westerly gale, force 8, imminent. And Forties and Fisher, westerly gale, force 8, expected soon. That's the gale warning, that's the news, that's the world as seen from the Radio 2 Midnight Newsroom. The time now very nearly 7 minutes past midnight, and with the exception of the shipping forecast proper, which follows on 1,500 metres at midnight 33, we're now closing down until 6 o'clock this morning, when Colin Berry will be here to begin another day of Radio 2 broadcasting. Until then, this is John Dunn, wishing you good night wherever you may be listening. Good night.